Soldiers, it's Robo, and we're back with another episode of Robo Reviews. And on this episode of Robo Reviews, we're going to take a look at my first line medical solution featuring my Coyote Tactical Solutions STOMP, or Slim Tear-Off Medical Pouch. Check it out. So here it is, guys, the Coyote Tactical Solutions STOMP, or Slim Tear-Off Medical Pouch. It's designed as a individual medical pouch that can be accessed by either hand and tears off the kit for ease and accessibility rather than essentially messing around with a pouch that's attached to you permanently. Obviously, the key benefit to that is the faster and more efficient you can deploy this medical pouch in a time is life scenario, obviously the better. Now, how the STOMP works is essentially the main medical pouch is attached to a base which attaches to either a plate carrier or a belt system via MOLLE and PALS. And essentially, to deploy the pouch, you merely unbuckle and tear off to actually free it from its base. As you can see, the base has integrated bungees or retention elastics for your preference of tourniquet. I have here a Cat 7 tourniquet. I also do recommend the soft T variety of tourniquets as well. Those are basically the only two I would recommend. Now, in terms of the pouch itself, you simply unzip it and it opens and lays flat to reveal its contents. Now, in terms of those contents, I've actually specifically set mine up in a certain fashion with a lot of the components that you can get pre-filled into the STOMP when you order it from Coyote Tactical Solutions. So I'll kind of show you those components now real quick to give you an explanation of why I've got them in there. So before I get into the specifics of my STOMP components here, I do want to take a second to make a very strong point. And that is, I know collecting some certain types of gear can be a cool hobby, it can be a fun hobby, it can make you feel quote unquote cool and whatnot. We see it everywhere on the internet. Things like armor carriers or different sets of camouflage or accessories for your firearms or airsoft, etc., etc., etc. I know there's cool guy points included in all that, having that stuff and deploying that stuff, even when you're not really that trained to do so. My point is that should never extend to medical stuff. I am only very basically trained in trauma care, but I am certified. I am also certified in first aid, CPR, and AED. And what I've come to learn in my very limited and short experience in tactical trauma care training, as well as standard first aid training, is that these do not garner cool guy points. These are not to be collected to feel cool or to enhance an image. These are life-saving tools. And very importantly, if you are not trained to deploy any of these items, do not deploy these items. Medical stuff is not to be trifled with. You either are trained or you are not, and therefore you either participate or you observe and call parties who are able to participate. Now, I generally don't like starting off reviews with such a stern sort of statement, but it does need to be made. Now, the caveat to these statements is this. I highly urge you to go out and seek training. It's what I am currently doing just because I've found myself very interested in the tactical medical field. Even as a civilian, there's very practical uses in our day-to-day society for these skill sets, even if you don't just find them interesting alone. So, quick recap of my super serious note. Don't collect this stuff to be cool. If you do have this stuff, be trained. If you're not trained but you're interested, go get some training. All right, let's take a look at the stuff that I've got in here. So essentially, the STOMP fills the role of being a medical pouch that is slim enough and low profile enough to be an IFAK or an individual care kit, as well as big enough to pack essential items that will allow you to then extend some of that care to, say, a buddy. So I'm going to go through all the items that I've personally put into my STOMP with the notes of what I've added as extra to the kit over what comes in the pre-stocked version of the STOMP. Just to give you an idea of what I carry in terms of my trauma care training. So we're going to start left side, go right side, and take care of the simple things that you can see easily first, obviously. So right here in the center, I've got elastic 2 pairs of tan nitrile medical gloves. Now, yes, these are tan, very tactical, very operational color, but these could just as easily be blue or just as easily purple. Now, take a wild guess at what just as easily color these should not be. That's right, black. Now, while black is a very tactical operational color, Anybody serving in the tactical medical field will know that it gets quite impossible to see blood on black gloves, especially as light becomes low. Blood shows up awesome on blue and tan gloves, okay on purple, but bad on black. Now again, I get it. Black gloves, that's tactical, dude. That's fine, but guess what? This is time or life. Something has already hit the fan. The color of your gloves don't matter in terms of concealment, okay? What they do matter is how quickly you can objectively pick up the sight of blood on them while doing blood sweeps, okay? So again, just a quick note, please, 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 don't use black gloves unless you're, say, in training. But even that, I would suggest picking up tan or blue, or even at worst case, purple gloves over black. So after the gloves, we've got some simple medical tape for all the uses medical tape can be used for. Use your imagination, it could probably be used for that. Now something I've added extra to my kit here that I want to go over is a reflective heat blanket. This is extremely important in terms of controlling hypothermia, especially in terms of my use specifically, where my guys here at home in Canada, we train a lot outdoors or in places that are quite remote to medical access. So this is sort of something I felt important for longer term care until better help can arrive, because hypothermia is a killer. So I've got one of these in here. It generally doesn't come in an IFAK, but it's just something I felt was important enough and small enough that I should pack one in my kit. So next here, I've got some North American Rescue compressed gauze. This is non-hemostatic gauze. This is just a regular sterile gauze. Now this gauze is used to pack traumatic and life-threatening puncture wounds, essentially to stop or provide compression from the inside against a life-threatening bleed. Now just a quick note before I put away this gauze, something you're going to see about this package and all the rest of my packages that I have not done yet. Anybody worth their salt knows how hard it is to open these packages under extreme stress, no matter how simple it should be to open up these packages. So a lot of guys will actually tape on some electrical tape to give you some pull tabs. I just haven't done that yet. I'm going to be doing that soon. So these last two items on the left side here need to come with a little bit of a disclaimer. These are what are called decompression needles. They are to alleviate a potentially life-threatening situation called tension pneumothorax. Now, tension pneumothorax is when air leaks out of your lungs into the enclosed space between your chest wall and your lung itself. Without having somewhere to go, that air continues to increase the pressure around your lung and it stops you from breathing. This situation can quickly turn deadly if unchecked. Now, I am actually not trained to use these. They just came with the pre-filled kit for the Stomp. They remain in here to be used on me by a trained professional should the life-threatening situation arise. I only keep these in here for that situation and that situation alone, and I believe myself responsible enough to not use these knowing I'm not trained. And that's something I want to note to somebody. I would generally suggest you just don't carry stuff you're not trained to carry. Again, these are in here because they came in here and I'm a responsible human being. I'll leave that to your own decisions, but if there could be a simple statement to be made, that would be if you're not trained, don't even carry it. So that takes care of this left-hand side. We're going to jump over to the right-hand side and take care of all the goodies there. Quickly to start off with, just because they're simple to pull out, a really good pair of shears. Please get a really good pair of shears. And what I mean by a really good pair of shears is something by North American Rescue is a great example, or any of the other great North American companies that would make such a thing. A great pair of shears can cut through pennies, so that means a great pair of shears can cut through clothes with ease. Again, remember, these are time is life tools, so the faster, more efficient and reliable something can get done with that tool, the better. So a good pair of shears will do that. I actually have a second pair of shears that came with this kit, a more compact set that I carry on a plate carrier, just as a secondary set should I lose these for any reason. Next to come out of here is an NPA tube. This is used to create a permanent airway from your nasal cavity down into your throat should your airway be compromised or if the casualty is unconscious. So the next thing I'm going to pull out of here is I'm just going to do it in order of controlling hemorrhaging. So the first thing, much like the gauze on the left, you're going to want to use some sort of maybe hemostatic gauze, and that's what I've got here. This is a quick clot infused gauze. It's Z-folded for ease of deployment. Essentially, this is the first gauze that I would be looking to put into a traumatic wound in order to control hemorrhaging. Essentially, having hemostatic properties to the gauze itself through the quick clot basically assists the body's own cascade towards clotting while I'm packing the wound and applying that pressure. So this is a great idea to have, especially for an extremely traumatic hemorrhage. Now, after the wound was actually packed itself, I would finish off with an emergency trauma dressing, or more popularly known as an Israeli bandage. This is a compression style bandage that goes over the actual wound itself to compress all of that packing down into the wound. So it's very, very, very important to have one of these in a trauma kit. Now, something you may or may not see in other IFAKs, but I do carry them because I'm trained in their use. But as a last item in my kit, I do carry 2 chest seals for penetrating chest wounds. And when I say penetrating chest wounds, we're talking generally knives and bullets, but any sort of wound that would penetrate the chest cavity to allow air to leak into the chest cavity. That's what you would use these for. So that takes care of all the items that I actually personally stock in this Stomp. I do have another bag that I keep extra medical supplies in that really don't sort of fit the profile that I would deploy a Stomp in. This is a great setup for, say, a range situation, or even a basic tactical situation where you need a couple extra things for more advanced buddy care should you come across it. But again, to each their own. Each medical professional is going to sort of pack their first aid sort of utility pouches with the things they find are most dire in the situations that they encounter. So you might know somebody that has something a little bit different in here. This is just what I stock mine with. So with the Stomp covered, let's just take a quick look at the base and how it integrates tourniquet holding capabilities for you there. So one of the great things about the Stomp is that not only does it have a quick detach base, so again, literally you're ripping this pouch off of Velcro for quick deployment, it incorporates elastic loops for tourniquet retention. So in my limited experience in the medical field so far, by far the most polarizing topic in tactical medicine versus civilian first aid medicine has to be the tourniquet. So for those of you who don't really know the tactical sort of mindset here, understand that whatever you've heard negatively about tourniquets in terms of the old wives' tale of put a tourniquet on, you're definitely losing the limb, etc., is basically all hogwash. The real data suggests that tourniquets being applied at the right time under the right circumstances is a lifesaver, 100%. And you're gonna start to see this more and more in the future where, especially in the United States, a lot of EMT and paramedic units are now being deployed with tourniquets. Now that's not so much here in Canada as far as I can tell, but I think it's something that's gonna change soon. So with that being said, I think it's kind of awesome that the Stomp really kind of incorporates this tourniquet retention. It really promotes the use and storage and deployment of this very life-saving tool should you need it. Now this tourniquet came with my stocked Stomp kit. This tourniquet itself simply comes out just by pulling it. Now this specifically is a Cat 7, a Generation 7 CAT or Combat Application Tourniquet. Now I would also suggest another tourniquet on the market, and that's called the Soft T or SOFT-T, and also the variant wide, so SOFT-TW tourniquets, and that stands for Special Operations Forces Tactical Tourniquet and Tactical Tourniquet Wide. These are the two types of tourniquets I would maybe suggest you carry. They're at least the ones that are 100% certified by all tactical organizations to use in tactical environments. So it's good for a tactical environment, it's good for you in a civilian environment. The bottom line is carry one of these, get trained on how to use one of these, when to use one of these, and why you use one of these. The most important why to use one of these is that if you're bleeding, if all of your blood is going from the inside of you to the outside of you, I shit you not, one of these might be the only thing that keeps some of that blood, enough blood to keep you alive inside your body and not on the ground. So again, I can't harp on this enough. break away from the old wives' tales. Tourniquets are a good thing in the right circumstances. So again, get one, train on how to use one, know how to use one. Hopefully you never have to use one, but get one anyways. And then when you have one, go out and get 4 more. In an operational scenario, you're going to want to have at least one of these for every extremity, and you're going to want to have them in locations that you can reach with either arm for self-aid should one arm be disabled. In terms of a civilian application, just having one of these is probably enough, but you should keep more than one at your home on hand should one of these break. Having one of these in your day-to-day lives is probably going to be enough because you're probably never going to have to actually deploy these. The point is you will have one, whereas the person next to you will not when the shit hits the fan. So again, buy one, learn how to use it. Again, hopefully you never will have to use it, but have one nonetheless. So there you have it, the Coyote Tactical Solutions STOMP or Slim Tear-Off Medical Pouch. It's currently my favorite choice for low-profile IFAK, deployable medical pouch solution. It carries everything that I need for my scope of practice in terms of what I've been trained to do, and it does so in such a way that it doesn't get in the way. So I highly recommend this as an option if you're looking for a personal or even buddy care pouch system. You can obviously get this directly from the Coyote Tactical Solutions website. I'll have that linked in the description below as always. Now the pouch itself with the mounting base goes for $54.99, or you can get it pre-filled with a ton of the stuff that you already saw in this pouch itself for $179.99. That actually saves you some money in terms of if you bought the pouch separate and the medical insert separate. Buying them together, I think it saves you 20 bucks or whatnot. So to each their own. If you've got your own medical stuff and you want to stock it from your own medical stuff right off the beginning, go for it. Just buy the pouch and the base. If you need medical supplies, if you need a cat tourniquet to come with it, again, buy the $179.99. It's actually a great price for the basic medical kit that you saw in here. It's very functional stuff, very high quality stuff, as well as the actual very high quality system that the STOMP offers itself. So there you go, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed the review, found it helpful. Again, I highly recommend if you're looking for a deployable, tear-away, slim medical pouch system or solution, do check out the Coyote Tactical Solutions STOMP medical pouch. So that pretty much takes care of this episode of Robo Reviews. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Coming down the pipes in terms of more reviews, I do have a few more that I'm grinding out for you guys. Most imminently, I'll be releasing my PTS Mega Arms Wedge Lock Handguard review, so be on the lookout for that. Now, in terms of gameplay, I have a veritable ton of gameplay for you guys and other sorts of action footage. I'm working on a firearms montage for you guys, as well as obviously more footage from Nightfall 5, and I did collect a ton of footage from Copperhead 2.5, which took place in New Mexico last week. So be patient as always. All this footage is coming very, very soon. Thank you guys for your patience. As always, I want to take a quick second to thank my 3 most awesome sponsors, being Enola Gaye Tactical Smoke Grenades, Red Wolf Airsoft, and Coyote Tactical Solutions. Now, these 3 companies provide me support in such a way that allowed me to do more airsoft, but more importantly, bring you guys more gameplay, more reviews, and more philosophies to learn from and enjoy. So big thumbs up to these companies. Do take the time to check out their websites. They're linked in the description below. And whether you did or you didn't like this video, this guy still wants to know about it. Drop me a line in the comments below. I love the feedback and the conversation. And as always, if you could do me a solid, that is like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Keeps me happening in this YouTube game. And until next time, guys, keep having fun playing airsoft, being good community members, defend what you love. Later, guys.